Tonight we begin with a big case for the High Court. The group that protests at military funerals is going before the U.S. Supreme Court in a case that tests the First Amendment. Justices are faced with deciding whether the church has a right to spread its message, even as a family lays their loved ones to rest. It's something that sparked emotions across the country, including here in Green Country. All new at 10, 2 News reporter Casey Roebuck joins us with a look at why the Supreme Court's decision is so important to a local family. Casey?
Well, Karen, protesters from the Westboro Baptist Church in Topeka were in Owasso in June as Army Sergeant Andrew Looney was honored after he was killed in Afghanistan. Looney's parents pray the Supreme Court will put the rights above grieving families, above those of the protesters.
We miss him dearly.
In June, Richard Looney's 22-year-old son, Sergeant Andrew Looney, died while serving his country. The young soldier had already received his first Purple Heart for combat injuries in 2007. He chose to return to combat just months before his death.
And he had that endeavor to pursue that at all cost. And so regardless of his life, that's what he pursued.
4 days before Andrew's memorial, the Looney family learned protesters would be there.
And we didn't know their intent, total intent, but we knew that they were on their way. It's grimacing at times to think of these people, what they do.
Word soon spread and thousands of people showed up to line the streets with flags.
So we didn't really see them.
But that was not the case in 2006 for the family of Marine Lance Corporal Matthew Snyder.
These people are terrorists. They terrorize innocent families.
You don't have to like my preaching, and I got a sneaking feeling that you don't. But, but I'm pretty doggone sure that I got the right to preach it, and he's got the right to object to it.
The Looneys hope the nation's highest court will decide in favor of the Snyder family and set a precedent that will stop protesters from targeting military families during their darkest days.
They need to stay away from the family that's grieving, more so than, of course, than other funerals, but especially a military funeral. They need to stay away.
And it could be late spring before the justices reach a decision. Phelps says no matter what the courts decide, his church will not change its practices. Casey Roebuck, 2 News works for you.
Now we want to know what you think. Do you think protesting at funerals should be protected by the Constitution? Let us know by voting in our online poll at kjrh.com.